Hi, this is Jason Robinson from Illustration by Design, and I am going to be continuing this illustration I started quite a while back, and drawing of Nightcrawler from the X-Men, and just want to get back to it and finally get it finished, so it won't be sitting around gathering dust half done. So, hope you guys are having a good night, good morning, and hope you enjoyed this drawing stream. If you would, please share out the link for this stream and let people know that I'm drawing. And I will hopefully get a number of people in here to watch it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks. I'll be right back. I need to get my glasses so I can see. Turn the fan on. Ooh. See if I can. Let's see if I can't finish this tonight. Alright, let's get to it. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask them. Luckily, I'm not drawing a portrait, so I'm actually able to see the chat tonight, as opposed to yesterday when I was drawing Rutger Hauer. If you haven't seen the live stream I did early this morning of me drawing Rutger Hauer, go back and look at it. It's on my channel. Let me know what you think. Hey, Mark Trafford, how you doing? Marchar says, hey everyone, just dropping in and say hi while I work. That looks real jack, Jiminy Cricket. Well, good. Glad you like it. Mm. Shinobi Raccoon's here. Hey, how you doing? He says, that actually looks cool. You sound surprised. I'm teasing. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Glad you like it. Hey, we have 6 people watching. Cool. Let's see if we can get it up to 10 or 15 or 20. That'd be awesome. Everyone watching, if you would, please share this the link out to social media and see if we can get more people in here. How you doing, Shinobi Sasquatch? I said Shinobi Sasquatch. I said Shinobi Raccoon. I just ordered that book a couple days ago. Finally, I tend to wait till the last minute to order these books because it's hard for me to part with that much money for a comic. But hope you're doing well, Shinobi Raccoon. Eric Hawkins says, "Love the face." Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Let's see, Crazy Hawk, you're meant to be working, not watching live streams. Crazy Hawk's like, my bad. Hey Crazy Hawk, how you doing? If you haven't already, Crazy Hawk, please subscribe to my channel. I do live streams like this fairly often, a few times a week, and do speed drawings and the like. Famous people, cartoon characters, superheroes. So yeah, I would greatly appreciate it if everyone who is new here would sub to my channel. And I'll try to draw cool stuff for you. And hit the bell for notifications for when I post new videos. Eric Hawkins says, you know what I like about drawing traditional? You never have to worry about being on the wrong layer, like I just was. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the downside is that, you can't just hit undo. When you make a mistake, you have to go back and white things out, and that can be a hassle. So, but it teaches you, helps teach you, I guess, self-control, better hand-eye coordination, drawing traditionally. So that's the one of the many benefits of it. I love traditional drawing as opposed to drawing with a computer. I find computer drawing a little, not a little, I don't want to say cold, but it's a lot of the fun, I think, is taken away from it. I mean, I love paper, I love smell of paper, I love using traditional tools and stuff. So it's a lot more enjoyable for me than just using a Wacom tablet and drawing with pixels. Huh. Hugh M says, cool M. I understand the cool part. What's the M part stand for? Maybe Cool Man. Let's see. Where did my... Oh, dagnabbit, where'd my brush pen go? My big one. My main one. It's over there? No. It's not it. Okay, I'm missing my big pen. Where did I put it? I don't think I put it anywhere, because last time I saw it, I could put it here. Alright. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I gotta look for one of my pens. Don't run away. Stay tuned. Ah, there it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. Fall on the floor? I don't think it did. I think so. Oh, here it is. Found it. I found it. Let's see. Everyone subscriber says Nemesis. Nemesis. What do you mean Nemesis? Evan Von Scriber. And if you have noticed, I put hashtags this time, Evan. So I don't know if you are using some sort of emoji right now, Evan. Mod rival? I don't understand. Mod rival. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, Star Pope Fires live stream. Got it. Sorry, I forgot. My short-term memory is kind of getting shot. Evan. Yeah, that was pretty funny. How you doing, Evan? I had to start live streaming because I saw that Pope was live streaming, and I was like, ah man, she's gonna be kicking my butt with subs because she keeps getting a whole bunch of subs. So it's like I better start actually producing some doing some work online so people can actually see me doing it. Yeah. So hopefully the more I stream, the more people will see it, and the more people who will sub to my channel. We'll see. I'm doing okay, doing well actually. Yeah, things are going good. It's a little late in the evening, but I do enjoy drawing, so I figured go online and stream it. You know, you're gonna be doing this anyway, so you might as well stream it and let people enjoy it. Shinobi Raccoon says I need to do that too. Put out content to grow the channel. I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's a pretty easy thing to do. The hard thing is making myself do it. So it's not that I don't have things to draw. It's just that I don't have. I need to force myself to live stream. You know, I part of me wants my channel to just magically grow. You know, just because it happens to be on YouTube. It's like, yeah, you know, people should just like, you know, go on there and like, you know, just sub to me because they happen to know I'm on YouTube, but it doesn't work that way. I have to constantly be pushing the channel, and be putting up content or showing content on a regular basis. So I guess I just need to stream more. So gotta get online and do it. So that's what I'm doing. And 7 people are watching, so hopefully that will grow. And you guys can help me if you would, please. please share this stream. Let people know that I'm drawing, and with your help, we'll get 10, maybe 15 or 20 people watching, which would be awesome. And maybe a few of them will even subscribe, which would be even better, because I'm still on my mission to surpass Popefire in subs. And right now she's kicking my butt. I think she has 100 subs more than me. Evan Von Scriber says, "What are we talking about today?" I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Evan? I guess I could talk about the what was it, the Democrat debate, but I know nothing about it, so it'd be a short conversation. I know that they're having one today, or they had one today, but I didn't watch it, so I have nothing to say about it. But want to talk about comic books or whatever, I'm more than happy to talk about comics. So is there anything new going on with Comicsgate? It's still around, right? There is still Comicsgate, or has something changed in the last few days that I am completely unaware of? Because I saw that Ethan had a stream earlier today about independent comics entertainment or something. He called it like ICE. I didn't watch it. I saw that it was up, so I don't know. I didn't know if he was starting some whole new group or what was going on. I plan to listen to it later, but I'm not up to date on all the nitty gritty, super details that are happening with that stuff. Okay, Evan Scriber says new A24 film. A24 film? I don't know what that is, Evan. The new A24 film. I'm not sure what that is. Shinobi Raccoon says YouTube hates it when we take breaks. Yeah, it does. They want you to constantly produce content for their website. It's just So I have to try to do that. Unfortunately for the introvert in me. How many trolls, Eric Hawkins says, how many trolls do you think will show up in the D&Q chat tomorrow after all the weekend drama? Not many, I don't think. I don't know why they would. Unfortunately, I won't be there to enjoy it because I'm going to be... I have a figure drawing class tomorrow, so I won't be in, Actually, I have to talk to Mike about that. Have someone else work the poll. So, but yeah, I don't expect that many, unless War Campaign decides to be stupid and do something like that. But I don't think they will, because Ethan told them to cut it out, so I'm pretty sure they will. Evan Von Scriber says, I heard some less than favorable opinions about people who say CG is dead. Yeah, I don't think it's dead. Because I think the sort of philosophy, the mindset behind Comicsgate is still alive and kicking. A24 is a film production house or distributor, I forget. Yeah, I don't know anything they're producing, so I couldn't tell you anything about their new film. Shinobi Raccoon says, guess Dramagate isn't convenient for him anymore. Isn't convenient for Ethan? I guess what I'm saying is I don't know what tonight's live stream was about. I was just speculating because he was talking about something new that I'd never heard of. So I didn't know if that was... I didn't know what it was. So part of me was surmising that it might be some sort of new group of creators that I didn't know. So that's why I was asking. Shinobi Raccoon says at Evan Von Scriber, even the OG comic gators split from the movement and are doing their own thing is pretty dead. Well, I mean, Comicsgate was never organized to begin with. So, to my mind, Comicsgate is more the philosophy behind the movement than some actual organized entity. So as long as there are people who still believe in the standards of Comicsgate, to my mind, is still alive. I mean, unless people are just rejecting the idea that far left politics don't belong in comics, or that politics in general shouldn't be dominating comic books. I mean, I think the fans still pretty much feel that way, and they still want escapist entertainment in comic book form. And as long as fans want that, I think that's Comicsgate. Just pure comics, just fun entertainment, not sort of social, political, propaganda shoehorned into comics. Eric Hawkins says, nude figure drawing class? Of course. Otherwise, what's the point of going? Eric Hawkins says, I don't think they will listen to Ethan. They had some not so nice things to say about Ethan and everyone else. I won't. I was actually watching their live stream while they were watching Ethan's live stream. I found that entertaining. It was sort of like watching CNN on election night in 2016. That to me, that was the fun part, watching the people who were like sort of bitter about the results, and it's sort of the same with watching war campaigns live stream a couple nights ago. Ed Musgrave says at Shinobi Raccoon. I heard that, but I don't really follow the CG stuff. I follow. I mean, I follow some of it, but there's so much stuff out there. But it's impossible for me anyway to follow all of it. I mean, I probably follow maybe 40% of it, just because I have a life and I don't have time. But I am interested in it. I'm interested in it because I'm interested in the books. I'm interested in the players and the artists and writers who create the books. So I have some interest in it. Shinobi Recon says the ideal still remains, but as a movement, if you will, is a dead horse. Again, I don't necessarily agree, because these comic books are still coming out. The creators may no longer say they're Comicsgate, but they're still making books based on the philosophy of Comicsgate. To me, that makes Comicsgate alive. If all these creators, if Mike and Ethan and Matthew Weldon and all these guys just said, forget it, we're just gonna go back to try to work for Marvel and DC, then Comicsgate would be dead. But as long as these guys are still putting out independent comics that sort of reject the nonsense that the big two or big three are putting out, that is Comicsgate. And as long as fans still want those books, that's Comicsgate. It's not. So I don't know. Yeah, that's, to my mind, that's what it is. Eric Hawkins says, I just like good comics, CG or not. Yeah, same with me. Evan Moscover says, it seems CG is not necessarily dead, but maybe shattered. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, shattered. Yeah, cracked. Split. Maybe. Mike has dropped off of Twitter. Edwin says he's no longer CG, and I think Ethan was joking around with Ice. Okay, he was mostly talking about Rainbow Brew on the stream, but I didn't listen to all of it. Okay, got it. Okay, he may have been joking. So, because like I said, I saw it. It was still ongoing, but I didn't actually listen in because I was sort of just running around YouTube checking out what was happening. Shinobi Raccoon says, at Eric Hawkins, Cyberfrog hasn't even gotten to the backers yet. Maybe you should wait for people to get that before pushing Rainbow Brute A. Well, I think with Ethan, and I think with a lot of these guys, they want to have a lot of coals in the fire at the same time. Cyberfrog is at the printers, I believe, being printed. So he figures, he's done, in a sense, his part in terms of creating Cyberfrog. So rather than just sort of twiddle his thumbs for until it's actually printed and in backers' hands, he's going to spend this time backing his next project. and sort of getting people hyped up about that, so that when he's ready to start that campaign, he'll already have the pump prime for people to start opening up their wallets. I think that's Ethan's sort of idea behind talking about Rainbow Brute now. He doesn't want to waste this valuable Carnival Barker time that he could be using to talk up his next big thing. Well, Eric Hawkins, don't worry. We all know that it's going to be delivered. It's just a question of when the printers are going to get it to us, or get it out, whatever. Eric Hawkins says that was one thing Ethan did say today. He only wants to do one book a year. Yeah, so it's been almost a year since it was launched, right? Yeah, exactly. Seriously. So I guess he's staying true to his word, putting out a book a year. Let's see. All right. Everyone subscriber says, I understand wanting to keep the plate spinning. Each campaign is what, a year's salary? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he could be putting out, say 2 books a year, but I mean, I think, he used to put out a monthly book, but then he wasn't writing it, he wasn't, producing it, 100%. He was just drawing it. So now he's taking on the work of, 4 or 5 different people. Everything from writing and drawing the book to printing and distributing it. So it's it's a lot more things he has to take on. Eric says that Ethan showed a proof copy from the printer the other day. Yeah, I know, I saw it. It was pretty cool. I mean, stuff like that is exciting. So, I mean, and I'm glad he does it, because it does help pacify a lot of people like me who would otherwise be kind of ticked off or annoyed that a year later we're still waiting for the book. I mean, it's a good way to sort of keep me quiet is to at least show me what's happening. I mean, the fact that he and Doug does this a lot. He shows himself actually working on the book, and Mike Miller. The fact that I can see them working on the book, in real time, that's enough to satisfy me. If I can see you at least working on a book, I don't mind waiting, because I enjoy watching people draw, but also it just shows me that you're actually doing it. You didn't just take my money and take off for the Bahamas. So I mean, and it's sort of why I was a little annoyed with Mitch Breitweiser, because there were months that went by that I didn't hear anything from him and didn't see any of the work he was doing on Red Rooster. I mean, now I think he's back on YouTube now, and he sent out a postcard a few weeks ago letting people know that Red Rooster was late, but he should have been showing people the work he was doing on the book a lot more frequently than he was. I know he was starting a business, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if you pay for a book, you want to know that the person's actually working on it. So, I was going to back Long Harbor because the art looks amazing until I heard the creator say he hadn't started working on the actual book yet and wasn't sure when he would start because he is slow. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, I was gonna back it too, and it looked gorgeous. I mean, it's the artwork they showed, but by the time I got around to backing it, it closed. They closed the funding for it. So and I was kicking myself because they had closed it. But now I'm kind of glad, I guess, if the guy hasn't even started on the book. I assumed that those were pages from the book, and he was close to finishing it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I need to know that you're working on a book if you want me to if you want me to support it, and 2, if you want me to to not complain if it's late. I don't mind it being late as long as I know you're working on it and it's getting done. So, and by late I mean like 4 months or more. If it's like 2 months late, that's okay. But if it's 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, I'm gonna be like, what's going on? Especially if you don't give me an update. If you don't give me an update, or if I don't see you, posting pictures of how the book's coming along, or hear something from you. If you just disappear off the face of the earth, no, that's a big no-no. After I've handed over 25, 35, 40 bucks, I want to see what I'm getting for my money. Let's see. Shinobi Raccoon says it'll be interesting to see how many people will back Rainbow Brute when it took him over a year just to get Cyberfrog to the printer. That isn't a problem with Ethan. People won't. If people don't back Rainbow Brute, it won't be because Cyberfrog is late. It will be because of all the nonsense that's been happening with War Campaign and Comicsgate in general, and Ethan's sort of blasé attitude towards it until very recently, until this past week, basically. I mean, so many people have been sort of chased out of Comicsgate or treated poorly by War Campaign or even Ethan himself, because Ethan was tolerant or enabling War Campaign. That turned a lot of people off and made people really resentful towards towards Ethan. So I think that people are more forgiving of lateness than they are being mistreated by creators, and that's the whole reason why people join. Hold on. Uh-huh. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Give me a second here. Hopefully, okay, this is still working. So, I'm assuming you guys can still hear me. I know that went out for a second. Okay, awesome. Everyone, Subscriber says, I hear you for now. Okay. Yeah, my internet has hiccups every once in a while. And, yeah, I apologize for that. It's annoying for you watching it. It's annoying for me sort of trying to live stream. So, good. Sorry. Yeah. But, yeah, all that nonsense with War Campaign and sort of the bullying, the harassment, the backbiting and stuff, that turns people off more than anything else. So I think, yeah, people are more forgiving of lateness than being treated like dirt. So let me see. Shinobi Raccoon says Brightweiser at least didn't give the backers crap when we asked him what was going on. Yes, again, if you treat the customers with respect, when they have complaints, then again they're forgiving. But if you treat them poorly, yeah, that's a big no-no. So yeah, I think that Ethan unfortunately let a lot of his success with his campaign sort of get to his head, and more than anything else, I think he let the sort of hero worship, the whole Caesar thing that War Campaign was giving to him. He let his ego get out of control, and instead of actually listening to the customers who were telling him that War Campaign was toxic. So, and that is unfortunate. But hopefully, I'm hoping Ethan has learned from it, and that he'll just be a better creator as a result of it. Um, Evan Von Scriber says, I'm sure people will back the next one. People just like complaining. Realistically, if you're not satisfied with customer service, don't back the next project. Yeah, and yeah, that's what people will or won't do. Yeah, if they don't like Ethan's customer service, then they won't back the next project. If they don't mind it, or if they're happy with it, then they will. So that's how it works generally. Um, Eric Hawkins says, I agree. People will back Ethan regardless. Man, some will, some won't. I know some who definitely will not. So it just depends on the person. You know, some people are live and let live. You know, forgive and forget. Some people will not forgive because they've been hurt by it. So just depends on the person. Eric Hawkins says the Long Harbor guy said he would reopen it when he started working on the book. Okay, well, I hope he reopens it, and I hope he starts working on the book. Yeah, that's man. I'm surprised that he would run a campaign, a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign without actually working on the book. That's weird. Eric Hawkins says, yeah, 2 months isn't too bad. There can be issues with the printer or other stuff. Edits, yeah. I mean, like I said, as long as I know you're working on the book, I can deal with lateness. Like RT Bear. RT Bear's Black and White remastered. He started that in October. It was supposed to come out in October, I think. Wasn't it? Last October? Or maybe he started it in October, and it was supposed to come out in spring. Regardless, it's late. And I would be normally I will be upset because it's to my mind it's really late because he's basically the book's been done since the 90s and he's basically just sort of redrawing panels and stuff to sort of bring it up to date. But I've seen him working on it over the past 7 months or so. So as long as I can see that the person is working on the book and actually trying to get it to consumers' hands, then I'm not going to complain about lateness. I just want to know that he's working on it, and he was. So that's I am pacified. Um, Evan Moss says, yeah, I'm not backing anything because of the nonsense. Not that I've been involved with any of it. It's just bad business. Yeah, and that's perfectly fair. I can understand that as well. I mean, I'm still backing books. There's some books I'm not backing. Some because of the nonsense. Some just because I'm not interested. But yeah, back what you like. If you like certain books, back them, regardless of whatever. It's your money. Spend it as you please. You are not required to back any CG book you don't want to, any creator you don't want to. You can buy any book you like, and I would encourage everyone to do so. Eric Hawkins says, I didn't back Cyberfrog and I've only backed Thunder Punch and Doom Kicker. So expensive to back some of that stuff. Seriously, it is. And that, I mean, if you told me a year and a half ago that I would be buying comic books that cost $25 each, I would have told you were crazy. But I guess I support what they're doing so much. I'm willing to spend that money for good escapist entertainment. And I think the books are going to be good. I mean, all the comics gate books I've gotten so far, I'm more or less happy with them. And whenever I've had any issues, the creators have always been very quick to address them and at least try to make sure that I'm satisfied. So, and that's all I really ask for. Um, let's see. Evan Von Scriber says, I think calling everyone a liar, then suddenly saying it's all true is pretty stomach churning. Yes, it is, Evan. Yeah. I, all I can say is I agree. People have been telling Ethan this stuff has been going on for how long? 8, 9 months. And he's been defending war campaign all that time. Blah blah blah, making excuses for them, encouraging them with his, by laughing at it or dismissing concerns and complaints. And now, it's, you can't just sort of wash that away overnight or with one live stream. And everyone's not going to just sort of say, that's okay. I don't mind that you, called us all liars for all this time. People remember, and Ethan's making a lot of money, but he's also lost, some money because of it, and more importantly, future sales. That's where it's gonna probably hurt him the most. And just in general, the whole the solidity of Comicsgate, the movement. It's hurt the movement, and since Ethan is sort in many ways the figurehead of the movement, his silent approval. Maybe that's too strong because I don't know if he so much approved of it, but his sort of turning a blind eye to it has hurt the movement in many ways. So, Eric Hawkins says, "I've had more money. I would back more books. I would back more on Kickstarter. Yeah. If I had more money, I'd do a lot of things." Hey, Argus Creations says, "Hey nerds, how you doing? Argus Creations? Hope you're doing well." Let's see. Eric Hawkins says, "I haven't seen so much drama since high school." Evan responds, "I never saw this kind of drama in high school." Argus Creations says, "Dang it, every time I see Jiminy draw, I either want to give up or work harder at it." Work harder at it. Don't give up. Never give up. The only reason I keep drawing is because I keep on seeing better artists than me, and it makes me think, I gotta get better so I can get as good as them. So, yeah, keep drawing. Yeah. Eric Hawkins says, "Work harder, never give up, never surrender." I agree. Keep fighting. Keep working those pens. Eric Hawkins says, "I think War Campaign was feeding Ethan's ego and he ate it up. But when people started wanting refunds and staying, it was because of War Campaign. He finally spoke up." People have been doing that for months, though. I mean, Ethan's only spoken up in the past few days, and that's the problem. He didn't. He did not. He took as long as possible to admit the obvious, that War Campaign was hurting people and hurting his business, and maybe he just didn't want to admit it. Maybe he just didn't want to admit it to himself because he spent so much time goofing around with them and sort of feeding them by having them on his streams, going on their streams. Ethan very much has a frat boy sort of personality. So I think what War Campaign was doing, in a lot of ways, Ethan responded positively to it. He enjoys trolling. It's his personality in a lot of ways. He's kind of a goofy guy. He's not goofy, but he's a goofy guy who enjoys prodding people. So War Campaign sort of fit in with that personality, and so Ethan didn't want to. He didn't want to sort of get in the way of that or ruin their fun because he enjoyed it as well. Argus Creation says EBS is an outrage artist. So is Tug. It's a 21st century spin of an old gimmick, up to the viewer if you want to consume it. Eric Hawkins says, I wondered if they let it go on so long because they thought they were contributing more money to their campaigns than they actually were. Well, there aren't that many of them. Okay, so say there are 20 people active in war campaign. 20 people don't contribute more money to Ethan than the thousands of people who were buying his books. So it didn't make any sense monetarily or financially for Ethan to let it go on because they were spending quote unquote so much money, because they weren't. Yeah. Sorry, I had to take a drink. I'm talking too much. Less talking, more drawing. I still have not learned the fine art of drawing while talking, because my brain is not that well trained yet. Maybe I'll get to a point where I can draw well while talking. Notice when I start talking, I have to stop drawing. It's like computer memory. My CPU starts to fail. But hey, there's 7 people in the chat. Yeah, please give the video a thumbs up if you are enjoying my drawing. And if you could, please share the link to this live stream and let other people know that that I'm drawing, and invite them to come in. The more people, the merrier. The more fun it'll be. It's a lot more fun than me sort of like just sitting here by myself, jabbering to myself. So bring in more people. Let's see, it's 1:50 right now. I would like to get this finished by 3. Is that possible? I don't know if it's possible. We'll see. We shall see. Hey, Argos Creations. Hey, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. It's good seeing you. And keep drawing. Don't give up. I dropped my pen. Dang, I gotta chase it. Let's see. Everyone Scarver says it's an extreme reaction to an extreme problem. Mainstream thinks they can cash in on the peak and cut off the long tail. Indies think they can serve the long tail and cut off the peak. That's a little too deep for me. Cash in on the peak and cut off the long tail. Can you explain that in a simpler way for me? Again, I'm drawing, so my cognitive skills decline exponentially with how much I'm drawing. So I'm gonna need something pretty simple for me to understand. Much simpler analogy. Okay, Emma Scriber says it's a marketing thing. Okay. I'll have to call my sister. She majored in marketing. She can explain it to me maybe. Eric Hawkins says, that's what I was thinking. That is some deep stuff, and I'm confused. Good, it's not just me. I'm just an artist. I speak in terms of comic books. Use comic book analogies. I'll understand it better. Like kryptonite or, something like that. Let's see. Does pen dry out? Hope not. Let's see. Everyone subscriber says the peak is a large number of people who spend a few dollars. The long tail is a small number of people who spend thousands. Oh, okay, okay. Eric Hawkins says, I'm just a simple artist. Big words scare me like mainstream and tail. Yes. Well, trying to think. The mainstream. Actually, I think at this point, the mainstream is going after a small number of people who spend a few dollars. I don't even know if the peak still exists for the mainstream, because I think the majority of comic fans from the 90s, they're gone. They're no longer buying Marvel and DC. So I think that the whole dynamic has changed. What would be the peak now? I think the peak is like a small number of people who spend a few dollars. I think the peak and the tail are pretty much the same at this point, except the tail is still a small number of people who spend thousands, but the peak has been reduced from a large number of people to a small number of people who spend a few dollars, and that's why the comic industry is dying. Yeah. I think that what used to be a large number of people from the peak back in the 90s has shifted into the tail. So now the tail's fat, and you have sort of a fatter tail that spends thousands compared to a smaller peak. Evan Muscarver says, no, the peak doesn't exist, and that's part of the problem. Yeah. Eric Hawkins says, I like Fat Tail. We all do. Short Fat Tail. M says, Evan Bass subscriber. Yeah, some people are into that. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Eric Hawkins says, I have boxes of 90s books. I'm sure I have Art's original black and white in there somewhere. Yeah, I never got it. So, I mean, I'm very interested in seeing it. And Art's Art's artwork has improved so much since the 1990s that, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the remastered version. Because his original art was very much the whole 90s exaggerated, big shoulders, tiny head art, and I'm not a big fan of that. But I'm a big fan of Art's current style, which I think is much more pleasing to my eye anyway. Everyone subscriber says, weird question. Why are all the indies about vampires? Did I miss a trend? I think it's delayed Twilight syndrome. If you notice, a lot of young adult books are about vampires. This whole romanticism about monsters and stuff, and beautiful monsters. But vampires, I think, are very, I don't know. I'm more curious about the whole fascination with the zombies over the past 15 years. I don't understand that at all. I mean, it's just like they're just freaking rotting corpses stumbling around. I don't find them interesting at all. Um, Eric says I noticed that too. I'm not sure why. Mine was zombies. Well, zombies and the Wizard of Oz. Okay, that's an interesting combo. Um, so always found werewolves much more interesting than zombies. So when's the werewolf renaissance going to happen in fiction? Evan says OG zombies are more interesting at this point. The voodoo mind control kind, yeah, they are more interesting because at least there's a mind behind the zombie giving them direction. I mean, just sort of brainless zombies that are created from some unknown source. It's just dumb to me. There's some of the dumbest monsters. I mean, even Frankenstein's monster had a brain. These things are just ridiculous. I don't find them interesting. Eric Hawkins says I do have a werewolf book I want to do, but it's on the back burner. Mark Travis says okay, I'm driving now, so I can watch. Joking. Yeah, we are losing people. There are only 4 people left in the chat. What happened? What happened? When I was ranting about Comicscape, people were watching. Now that I stopped, people don't want to watch me draw. I have a source for my zombies. LOL. I haven't revealed it yet, though. Okay, cool. Well, when you do your book, let us know. Eric Hawkins says, I want to do a werewolf book where they are priests that hunt other supernatural creatures. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Huh. That's an interesting premise. Yeah, I also backed that book, Soul Finder. That's about I guess they're priests who fight supernatural um, enemies, but they are all ex-soldiers, so they already know how to fight and stuff, and that's one of the requirements to join their group. I found that an interesting premise. Okay, it's still going. I just check every once in a while to make sure the camera's still working on my phone. As installed. Eric Hawkins says, I already did the first issue, hoping to get the second issue done by the end of the year. But I have a paying gig to finish before I can finish my second issue. Cool. Evan Von Scriber says, I pitched a mind control zombie character to Dillard for a cross comics character contest. Cool. Name. I remember the Marvel character, I Am Zombie. I think that's what it was called. And his name was like Simon Garth, I think. And he was an interesting character. I never read the books, but I'd seen pictures of him, and he looked cool. All right. Let me see. Evan Von Scriber says, is it like Solomon Grundy? Yeah, except I think he was controlled by someone, or maybe not. Except Solomon Grundy had more of a mind though than Simon Garth, the Marvel zombie character. That one was just yeah. I'd have to look him up, but yeah, Solomon Grundy was dumb, but he at least had a mind. Simon Garth, I think his name was, didn't really have a mind at all. I think he worked more on instinct. It was sort of like he was sort of like the Man Thing of zombies, and just like Swamp Thing was actually actually had a brain and could think, and Man Thing could not. It was the same thing with Simon Garth versus Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy can think, even if he's not the brightest guy in the room. At least he had a brain and he could talk. Simon Garth couldn't talk. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Eric Hawkins says, I'm a little ashamed. You outgeeked me there hard. Pulling out Simon Garth. He's been around since the 1950s. I've never heard of him. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I kind of have I remember weird things, and Simon Garth had a very distinctive look. He looked like almost he looked kind of like the Frankenstein monster, but he had he had no nose, and his eyes were like round, like ping pong balls in his head, and he had such a distinctive look that even though I'd never read his books, I always remembered his picture, and for some reason I remembered his name. Um, so yeah, it's just sort of luck of the draw. I reached into the inner, inner recesses of my cobweb mind, and I found a file on Simon Garth. It's probably from an old issue of the Marvel, remember those old Marvel Encyclopedia issues? The I can't remember the name of them now. Now they just bragged about my weird memory. That Marvel Handbook series. I probably remember him from that when I read it back in the 80s. Eric Hawkins says I found a really nice Boris Viejo image of him. Oh, cool, neat. Yeah, because I remember he used to be in those Marvel magazines from the 70s. So yeah, maybe I saw some images of him from that as well. But yeah, it's a cool character. I should probably look up some issues with him in it. One website I found fairly recently that I've really enjoyed because I don't have the money to buy all these back issues and read them, and a lot of them haven't been printed or reprinted in like soft back, trade paperback form. I found a website called Read Comics Online, and you can probably Google it, but it's basically a storehouse where you can find comic books, old and new, that have been sort of scanned in, and you can read them online, which is pretty cool for me. Maybe not so cool for for comic book companies, but yeah, if you have a chance, check it out. I think it's called Read Comics Online. All one word. So I was able to find like the first issue of our first appearance of Green Lantern, the Golden Age Green Lantern. They had his first appearance. They had oh I tried to find the newest issue of Doomsday Clock, and it was sold out. So I looked on that website and they had it. I was like, wow, that was fast. They had the new Frank Miller Superman book. They had a lot of stuff. So you just go to the website and then you just type in what you're looking for, and then they had it there. So I'm gonna have to do that for the Simon Garth zombie books. Hmm. So anything else going on in the world that you guys are interested in? Hey, have you guys seen that TV show The Boys on Amazon Prime? My wife and I just finished watching the season tonight. Actually, it's really, 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 really good, but it's also really, 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 really graphic and wrong. It's the behavior of the characters, both the main characters and the villains, is not a kids show. It's not, and the people are not admirable in that show. But it's very entertaining from a comic book fan's point of view, standpoint, at least mine. I found it funny. And I never read the comic book. The comic book, I guess, was from who was it? Garth Ennis who wrote the comic book for Dynamite. I can't remember if it was Garth Ennis or one of those other one of those other Brits. But it's the basic premise. Yeah, Eric Hawkins says I loved it, but it's pretty graphic. Yeah, it's pretty graphic. Um, Eric Hawkins says, I'm looking up the boys on Comics Online right now. Actually, I should do that too, to watch it, to actually read it, because I never read the comic. My wife was watching it now. I didn't think she would like it. Yeah, my wife isn't into comic books either, but she watched it with me and she enjoyed it. For those of you who don't know, the basic premise is that, you know, there's superheroes in the world, and they're basically like sports stars and rock stars, movie stars are in our world. They're celebrities. So because they're celebrities, they're all the superheroes are managed by corporations, and the biggest superheroes, the Justice League of that society, is managed by this one major super corporation, sort of like, you know, Google or, you know, Amazon, whatever. And but because these superheroes are celebrities, they're all pretty much scumbags. They're all using drugs. They're all sleeping around, raping people, doing whatever they want because they're superheroes and they're popular and everyone loves them. And two, they have superpowers. They can do whatever they want. No one's going to stop them. You know, no one has the power to stop them because they're so powerful. So they're just ego-driven maniacs, sort of, you know, doing whatever they please. And then the corporation covers up all their messes while they get the adulation of the public. Um, and the boys of the title are a group of normal guys whose lives have been more or less ruined by these superheroes running rampant and you know, just being sort of jerks. So the boys are sort of like off the book black ops working for the CIA, who are trying to find dirt on these sort of, you know, superheroes and you know, eliminating them if they have to. So it's basically about their adventures, and like I said, it's pretty good, but it's also very very crude, very violent. I guess kind of Game of Thrones with superheroes. Maybe we can say that. Um, Eric Hawkins says it, it shows it being from Wildstorm and is Ennis. So it's Garth Ennis. Okay. Okay. And it's from Wildstorm, not Dynamite. Okay. But yeah, fair warning. It is for mature audiences only, and even then, you may want to think twice. But I saw it. I enjoyed it, despite a lot of the nastiness in it. Scott Schmier is here, and I'm assuming he put an emoji, but I can't see the emojis on my tablet. But hey, Scott, hope you're doing well. Thanks for showing up. The only thing that bugged me about the show was having Simon Pegg having an American accent. That seemed weird. Yeah, but it was pretty good, because if I didn't know he was Simon Pegg, I wasn't familiar with him, I wouldn't have noticed. I wouldn't have thought it was a weird accent. I mean, it sounded American to me. So he must have had a voice coach, a language coach, to help him speak American. Hey, Scott. Evan says anti-emoji tablet. Well, it shows some emojis. Other emojis it does not show. Like Scott's little tongue sticking out emoji. I see that one, but if maybe he's using an emoji that my tablet doesn't recognize, so it just shows a blank space. I'm doing well, Scott. Hope you're doing well too. Eric says, it sounded good, but I never heard him do one. I think I heard him do an American accent once before. Can't remember what. Oh, yeah. Mission Impossible. Yeah, the Mission Impossible TV series. He does an American accent. Mission Impossible movie series with Tom Cruise. He does an American accent in those. So, yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it before. But I think the one he did in The Boys was different from his Mission Impossible accent. Oh heck, I'm. Alright, hold on. Alright, that's a little better. Okay, I'm working on a Nightcrawler in case you guys didn't see it because I have this covered up to protect the artwork. But this is where I'm at so far. So I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream. And if you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That'd be awesome. Alright. Okay. Eric Hawkins says, looks like the first 6 issues of The Boys were with Wildstorm, and then it switched to Dynamite for 7 and everything after. Okay, that makes sense. Cause I thought it was a fairly new book. I mean, and when you said Wildstorm, I'm thinking Wildstorm. Wildstorm was the 90s or early 2000s. So. Let's see. It looks like it started in 2006. Oh, wow. Ran 72 issues? Wow. That's a long time. Mark Trafford says, just dropped into Mike's stream. Mike has left us, and they have taken over the stream. I don't understand. What do you mean Mike has left and they've taken over the stream? Who's they? The inmates? His children? The the viewers? Who's they? His kids. Oh, cool. His kids are taking over the stream. That's awesome. I hope they're doing well. Mike's kids are cool. They're very funny. Oh, Eden and Elijah. Oh, cool. That's great. Good. Probably end up getting more viewers and more subs as a result. They're both much more photogenic than Mike. Eric Hawkins says, "Okay, boys, I gotta head to bed. Have a good night, everyone." Eric, you have a great night. Thanks for chatting and keeping me company and everything. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Mark Trevor says they're acting like deers in the headlights, just answering random questions from the chat. So it's sort of like me. I can relate to being a deer in the headlights while live streaming because I rarely have anything interesting to say unless someone asks me a question. Even then, my response isn't necessarily interesting. So yeah, I'm much more of a responder than an entertainer in the sense of having things to say during live streams. I can respond to stuff fairly well, but But if you guys have anything to say, or want to talk about anything, feel free to ask, and I will respond. But I'm trying to think of anything interesting that I've seen that you guys might want to talk about. Mention the boys. There's not really much else that I know to talk about. What's your favorite comic book character? It better be Wolverine. Well, I'm drawing him right now. Nightcrawler. That's my favorite character. So, second favorite is probably Spider-Man. Wolverine isn't. I like him, but I don't even know if he's in my top 10. He's a cool character, but I think he's been just overused so much over the past, especially the past 30 years, since the late 80s. He's been, I don't know, I'm kind of sick of Wolverine in a lot of ways. Wolverine's basically the Batman of Marvel Comics. There's been a dictate from on high that nothing bad can happen to Wolverine that is not fixable. You know, you can't kill Wolverine just like you can't kill Batman because everyone knows he's going to come back. So to me, that kind of kills a lot of the interesting parts about the character. He's not interesting if nothing bad is ever allowed to, or nothing permanently bad is allowed to happen to him. So. Or Travis says, I'll pretend you said Wolverine. Scotchmere says, Nightcrawler is my favorite too. Cool. Yeah, I just like a lot of the aspects of Nightcrawler. I like his look. I like his powers. I like the fact that he's a Christian, but he looks like a demon. That whole dichotomy. I find him a very interesting character, and I find Wolverine a very interesting character as well. But like I said, he's been overexposed to the point of boredom for me. He would have to be pushed far to the background in X-Men in terms of his exposure in movies, TV, cartoons, and stuff. The actual comic book. Before I found him as interesting as I did before. I mean, when John Byrne was drawing X-Men, Wolverine was really interesting because you didn't know everything about him. They dripped out his backstory in bits and pieces, and each piece made it a little more interesting than the last. He was a very cool character, and part of the cool part of him was the mystery. Now they pretty much spelled out everything about him. So one, he's no longer mysterious, and two, like I said, I mean they pretty much described every freaking aspect of his life. So it's just makes him boring. Scotchmere says, I like that he is broken but still functional. Okay. Mark Trafford says, I'm glad DC turned down Nightcrawler. Mark Trafford's referring to the fact that originally Nightcrawler was supposed to be a member of, I think it was the Legion of Superheroes, that his creator Dave Cockrum was drawing at the time, back in the 70s. And a lot of the characters from the X-Men, the new X-Men, were actually rejects from the Legion of Superheroes. Like Storm was one of them. Nightcrawler was one. I think a couple of those characters ended up being members of the Shi'ar, the Imperial Guard for the Shi'ar Empire in the X-Men comics. So yeah, Dave Cochran made good use of them. He just recycled them. It's like, you don't want them out, I'll sell them to Marvel. Scott Schmier says next is Dr. Fate, and then maybe Saturn Girl. Oh wow, dang, Saturn Girl. Okay. Let's see. Mark Travis says Wolverine has been used in too many bad stories. Don't get me started on his origin story. Yeah. Yeah, his origin story was pretty bad. Gladiator 2, says Mark Trafford. Says Gladiator. I don't think Gladiator was originally going to be in the Legion of Superheroes. I think that's a different. I think that character was created for Marvel. All right. Man, sorry, I apologize. Um, I am afraid. What time is this? It's 2:30 right now. 2:40? 2:40 in the morning. I am afraid that I'm gonna have to sign off because my body is starting to really tell me to stop working. I know this because I'm kind of half falling asleep, and I'm half waking up, and my hand is like hovering above the paper, and I'm just terrified that I'm gonna nod off, and I'll be like, ugh, and just completely destroy this artwork. So, and I apologize because I want to get this done. I'm gonna continue it tomorrow, or rather today, later on today, in the light of day after I've had some sleep, and continue with it. Scott Schmier says, yes, Gladiator was the first one on... Oh, really? He was the first one on chopping block? He was changed into Ultra Boy because he was too much like Superboy. I'm not sure I understand. Are you talking about Gladiator from the Shi'ar Empire? Was changed to Ultra Boy? I don't understand that. Because Ultra Boy predates Gladiator by several years. Ultra Boy is from the 60s. But anyway, I'm going to stop here before I mess this up. I'm going to continue this drawing later on today. And hopefully you guys will be here to watch. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications and make sure that your settings are set so that your notifications are set for all. So that next time I go online to continue this live stream or post any videos, you guys will be notified immediately. Please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. So the channel will be helped in the analytics and all that blah 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 stuff that I don't understand from YouTube. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off for now. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me, for keeping me company for the past hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. I appreciate it. Mark Trafford, thank you very much. Scott Schmier says, okay, maybe they passed on Gladiator because he was like Ultra Boy. I'll research it. I know it's something like that. Okay, cool. But yeah, everyone have a great night. Mark Trafford, everyone else, you guys take care, and I will see you very soon, okay? Stay out of trouble, and yeah, be good. Take care. Bye.